Good evening, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is David Okon. Today I will be talking about the cost of living crisis in the United Kingdom. We have so far been talking generally about the situation of the cost of living crisis. Stated in the other video that the cost of living crisis is a function of inequalities in the United Kingdom and also across the globe. It's a global problem. And I've also said if we want to solve the problem in modern society, we need to identify what the problem is. And so far, we have identified that it's caused by government policy, a bad government policy on public sector, closing down the public sector, not being able to deal with crises of any sort. We show it with COVID-19, the government failing to provide healthcare for long-term people on a waiting list. The system failed because when the virus as a crisis, COVID-19 as a crisis came, the government was unprepared. It cannot be prepared because the government has closed down the public sector. It's closing down the public sector in the next 10 to 20 years. You will no longer see anything. No, that the public sector, the ambulance system is all privatized. The NHS has been privatized. Schools are being privatized and closed down. Every time the government privatizes the public sector, it is closed down because private companies are not designed to run public companies. Private companies are actually designed to run businesses for profit. So the government has been wrong due to ideological misunderstanding, also political rhetoric and mismanagement of the country. This is actually the case across the globe. It's not just in the United Kingdom alone. It's actually globally a product of globalization, which is a problem. Now, the United Kingdom will struggle to solve the problem it created, the problem of poverty, because it is going to struggle because the economy of the world is globalized. So it's now for the UK to take a leading role, the United Kingdom being a very influential partner. And if they can talk easily about the environment and the other issues of the world, the economic growth, if they can meet as global partners to talk about that, they can meet as global partners to talk about poverty as one of the most serious crises in the world. And it is actually really shocking that the government, modern capitalist governments of the world today, are not really treating the problem of poverty as a priority. Poverty can be eradicated within 10 years, even in Africa. That's why I'm talking, if you can, in your country, in your continent, give pressure to the government. If you are living in the UK, which I'm talking about the UK now, try to talk to your MP. The problem with the MP's office, Member of Parliament office, it's a public sector office. So it really means it's suffering the funding problem. So the best way to close down something you don't like is to stop funding it. So the government has stopped funding the public sector deliberately because the only way to close it quickly is to stop funding it. And it cannot tell the truth to the British public because of political reasons. Especially ring-leading party, political party like the Conservative Party, which is actually the master or the mother or the father of all privatization. Privatizing even something they shouldn't privatize, and New Labour also a betrayal of the Labour movement, and also society as a whole are tilted toward the right. If you do your own work to find out what the right in political terms means, right wing, what it means in political, and leave a comment below. Thank you everyone who have been helping me in every way possible. I'm genuinely grateful. People who have been making comments, you have been interacting with me. This channel is a work in progress and I'm excited about it. We have been 1 year now. We started last year as a program, but as a channel we have been since 2012. We did nothing on the channel. I only started working on it last December, and as is the case with YouTube, it takes time to grow. We are growing and I'm excited. I'm so grateful for everybody who have subscribed to my channel so far, who have been participating, making comments, also valuing what I'm doing. I'm so grateful. If we are only two or one or two of us, I'm so excited. But let's carry on with this program. We are so lucky. I am so lucky to pick on the topic of the cost of living crisis because it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to go worse. It's a sign of the times. So pay attention, close attention to this video. If you don't like it, watch it. If you like it, watch it. If you don't like it, support the channel, the video. If you like it, support it anyway. And one way or the other, you are gaining or you are not gaining, share with family and friends. They may or may not gain, but your participation will always be appreciated. And if you get some idea from this platform, go away and look for more information, because we live in a world where you are responsible for your life, and the government has now washed its hands. As I speak, rest assured, you have to really look after your life. You have to now look for housing, education for your children, food, energy, healthcare. When the government shut down, it is shut down on the majority of the population of the world. Simple like that. It is a very dangerous thing. I have not imagined any one event so dangerous as privatizing the public sector, which is now global, and it is actually complete. I don't believe it's going to be reversed. What I believe is that the government should think if it wants peace. What is looking is peace. Because the government should not be deluded that destroying the majority of the population is going to solve any problem. It will make it worse. Because I can call it stupidity. The stupidity of the government of the world, all of them, to try and exclude the majority of the population, thinking it's going to solve the problem of peace. Is actually what's the word? The word is actually delusion. So the government of Britain, the United Kingdom, the UK government is suffering from delusion. So is the government of the world. They are deluded. You think that to solve world problem is actually to exclude the majority of the population from the world. Because if you cut people of income, you cut them of food and energy, housing, healthcare, education, even nature, even the environment, because if you don't have money in a modern economy, you stop to function, you just die. Government is going to kill people. Actually, the government is going to wipe off humanity, because what it's doing therefore is violence. You sit there, you watch this video and keep quiet. That is your choice, and it is okay. But you can also choose to speak to your MP, speak to encourage your MP to speak to ministers in the United Kingdom to bring changes, because they should know what to be done to bring peace. It is not excluding the majority of the population from the country, which is what happens. I've been looking at the information yesterday. If you watch the rest of the video on the United Kingdom and the other videos, then you will begin to understand what we're talking about. Today, let us look at some specifics, but I will stop from time to time to discuss the broader subject. We can look at the specific as much as we like. I am there. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to talk about this. People who want to join me can join me. People who want to do something else can do something else. But one way or the other, we will meet when the time is right and do what we need to do is talk to the government to bring peace. Because you see, the cost of living crisis is evident on violence by the state. Simple as that. The state is actually clueless what it's doing. What the state is doing is extremely dangerous to humanity. If the state continues the way it continues, trust me, humanity will go extinct within 100 years. The problem with that now, it will only get worse because of privatization, because of capitalism. Capitalism is the weapon of mass destruction. Not because there is anything wrong with capitalism, nothing is wrong with the system. The only thing wrong with the system is the people. The people who have learned violence over the decades. They go to school and learn violence. Go to churches, learn violence. Go to mosque, learn violence. On the street, in nightclubs, in restaurants, they learn violence. They are taught, even in meditating at home, learn violence. It is time to learn peace. In what I've chosen to describe as cultural economy, this is at the heart of this program. And it is the most important concept I'm trying to promote using the cost of living crisis. Respect is what you mean by culture. If you respect yourself, you don't commit suicide because you value it. Respect is a product of value. If you value your life, you respect yourself. And if you respect yourself, you take care of yourself. You don't even commit suicide. Suicide is on the rise. Mental illness on the rise. Because as community, as families, we are stopped caring for one another. We care for our houses, which is wealth, our money, which is wealth, our reputation, which is pride, our power, which is lust. People want power, they want control, they want to show off. That is what drives the government of the world. They are culturally extinct, facing extinction. We have a choice to continue the way we are continuing and go extinct as a species. This is an existential question. Do we go extinct or we survive? Survival means revisiting our culture. This is important. If you think it makes sense, keep quiet. Don't say anything. You can also talk and leave a comment below. Talk to me or just be quiet. Either way, I'm good. Subscribe to the channel. Share with family and friends. Leave a comment. Do what you need to do. And appreciate the opportunity to really be here. So let us look at some material in Britain. It's about help in Britain. Help the government is giving to the British people. It's money normally. Either money or some value in kind. Housing, employment is also a gift from the government. Because see, if the government does not promote employment, everybody in this country will be unemployed, including the middle class. Because the middle class are sometimes deluded that they are rich. Because they're feeling good about life. The credit system is actually putting them to sleep. It's like a sleeping pills. You are middle class, you earn probably £50,000 per month, probably 100,000 per month. You've arrived, so you think. You've arrived, what do? You go to the bank or wherever you want to go. You get credit card. You get whatever you want to do. I mean, you borrow money to buy a house. 4 or 5 bedroom house. You borrow, you go and get car finance and buy a brand new car. You have arrived, or so you think, but you haven't. And this is nothing to insult anybody, because you see, there comes a time when the middle class of England, of the United Kingdom, to face the real world and unite as workers of the world, the people who are actually poor. The moment you realize your status in life, you begin to think constructively, positively, but that pales in significance if we still don't learn our culture. Cultural education and performing of those education is fundamentally important for poor people and for rich people. We live in a society of black and white, rich and poor, workers and people who do not work for a living, multimillionaires and multi-billionaires. If you know somebody who is worth millions of US dollars or euro or pound, you meet them, ask them if they have to work. Some of them, most of them are self-employed. Many of them are actually investors. Many of them also work, but the kind of work they do, the rest of the world calls play. They just go and move around in the office. Because some of them are actually directors, CEOs. Just move around and look around. They attend meetings, conferences, they travel, they live in luxury hotels. That is their work. In what we consider to be entertainment, for them is serious work, which is a good thing. They have arrived, God bless them. But for the rest of the world, especially in Africa, if an African say he has gone out to work, he is probably in the garden, in the field, walking barefooted, on the rain without any protective clothing, with a hoe and basic implement. They work and sweat. Sometimes, I mean, I don't know if they die working in Africa. And for their amount of work, they get very little food in a period called. I'm not saying Africa should sit and complain about life. They get on with it. They have land, but this land are temporary because all the minerals of the world come from Africa. In Congo, in Uganda, in Kenya, Africa is awash with national minerals. The minerals now needed for modern development. They get it from Africa. The Russians are there, the Europeans, Chinese are there, the Asians. Everybody is going to Africa to get natural resources. That is okay. Africa is a gift to the nation. But you see, going around getting wealth, whether from Africa, from other continents, where there are also wealth in Asia, in Europe, in America, there are wealth everywhere. The world is enough. The world has never been more rich, more wealthy. By nature, natural resources are developed wealthy. We are so rich as a generation, and we are also the most wicked, led by our government. Our government are so tainted by colonialism and over. I don't even know what to describe, but it's a form of violence orchestrated by the state, by countries, on the streets. At home, domestic violence. I will be talking about domestic violence going forward in the United Kingdom. It's an example of what happened in the UK and also what happened in the world. Domestic violence is, you could also say, it's a type of cost of living crisis because it costs the family in many ways. Emotionally, people are there. You know, if you are a man, your husband beating your wife up, or your wife beating you up, or children are beating their parents, then there is a lot of problem. I don't know, you may call it the cost of living crisis if you want, but it contributes to. Because if you have a problem, family problem, how are you going to work? Some people actually lose their job because of domestic abuse, domestic problem. So all these things I will be trying to talk about going forward, and it's not a marathon. It's not. What do you call it? It's a marathon, but it's not a sprint. So we're here to say, I'm so glad to do this video, and I hope as many people have visit the YouTube channel will see it. And so we have been talking about to slow this thing a bit down. So far we have been talking a lot about debt, about energy. So we have been looking at debt and also focusing a bit on energy, but I've been talking generally. It's about communication mainly. I mean, if you're in debt, you have to communicate with your creditor. And energy, we have spoken about it in the one other video, which this is actually following. And I've spoken about it there a bit. And normally it's about talking with your supplier if you are in the United Kingdom. Like I said, rules in England and Wales is different. Slightly different. It's significantly different from Scotland and Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland is different from Scotland. Scotland is different from England and Wales. England and Wales are quite similar in terms of the law and policies. So these actually are policies and laws regarding help available in the UK. I will be talking specifically and broadly also. And I have been doing so. And I'm thanking everybody who have been watching. And my prayer is that more of us will be engaging to watch it. So the supplier might agree not to disconnect them. You negotiate, it's negotiation. The problem with negotiation is that the balance of power is fake. You're talking about people who are so vulnerable. Talk about negotiating with supplier. People who are so vulnerable, who are sometimes actually suffering from mental illness, physical illness. They're so poor, they can't even afford to put food on the table. They cannot eat their home. They may not even be able to get out of bed because their homes is so freezing, so frozen. People are now being sent by the government into concentration camps in public libraries. I call it concentration camp so that people understand the gravity of the problem. It sounds so shameful in a big country like the United Kingdom. The government has really diminished itself. Ministers have really cheapened themselves by sending British people into libraries and into churches, because the government cannot provide money, income to support energy. People are actually sleeping in buses and trains. And now bus companies, because they are private companies, do not want people to travel in buses. And if you go to buses, they are so, in winter, they are like freezers. It's so cold now in buses, you can't even travel in them. That is a form of abuse. You see, because poor people are the ones traveling in buses. Rich people are actually traveling in limousines. Their buses are limousines. They're like living in, but we live in two different planets, for the poor and for the rich. And this is a sign that humanity, rich and poor, are facing extinction. It's a matter of when, not if. As long as this violence continues, as long as we fail to understand our culture, we are done. So let us carry on. So if you are facing problem with debt, with problem with maybe energy, for example, I'm using energy as a template as an example. The best thing is to actually contact professionals like advisors, the citizen advice in the UK, or other advisors, in debt advisors. I will list their name, but go online and look for them. And go. The best place to be is actually government website .gov.uk, council website, your local authority. Just go online, put the postcode of your council, local council, then go and access all this information there. They are linked to government website proper. They are also linked to all the other charities you need in the United Kingdom, including Citizen Advice. Citizen Advice is the biggest advice service in the United Kingdom, so it is so important. There are local citizen advice, but there are also central citizen advice. You want to access your local service, citizen advice. They have dedicated numbers, consumer helpline, or for advisors. So if you speak to them and talk to them, if they are going to refer you or actually speak on your behalf, that would be very helpful. However, like I said yesterday, there is a lot of pressure on this because the government is not funding them. Simple as that. So the government, the services are failing. Simple as that, because there's no money. The government is neglecting these services everywhere. I mean, however you look. I mean, we get depressed if you want, but whether you're depressed or not is not going to help, or it may help. But depression or no depression, it's time to speak about the problem. Because I believe that when we talk about the problem, we can start the process of solving it. It's empowering, and we need to address. I mean, the government is not going to run away from this because it created the problem with their partners in Europe, America, and Asia and Africa. So it has to be reversed or slowed down or stopped. I don't see that happening, but I see some sense of mitigating on the side of development. But on the side of culture, I think there is hope, except that that hope is quite remote. Because as I speak now, I don't see any hope. But I believe if the right people who are actually normal people, normal human beings, people who are not aliens, because you see the kind of violence you see in the government, it can only come from an alien. Human beings cannot be that violent. So as to abandon the majority of the population without any reservation at all, people are going to start dying because of failure of the hospital. For people who are not millionaires and billionaires, everyone is going to die. Everyone is going to die because of education. Education is shutting down for the poor. Only rich people will go to school if they want to. Technology eventually will take over, but before technology take over, only rich people, from now on, only rich people will be allowed to go to school. Only rich people are allowed to access food and energy. Only rich people are allowed to live in houses. People are going to be, already the government is sending people into concentration camps, which is actually represented by, he started concentration camp when he created food bank. Now we have energy bank. Sooner or later, we're going to have housing bank. We may have school banks, hospital banks. Already, concentration camp for hospital is now your own home. You are actually under siege, your home, which is not even your home because you are renting it. And the government sees that as its home, because especially if you live in council property, but also if you are buying your home, because you're borrowing your money, but any credit you take is backed by the government. So if you're on credit, the government indirectly own your property. So when it sends you home when you're sick, it is arguing that you are actually living in their property, not yours. People think they own property. You don't. If you are borrowing money to buy anything, it's not yours. Even the food you eat is borrowed and it is not yours. You have to pay it back. You see, you have eaten credit in your stomach. You have drunk water, you borrowed money to buy. You are taking medicine, you borrowed money to buy. No, there is no rest for the wicked if you are a poor person. But this wickedness and lack of rest is trickling down, trickling up the ladder. Is going from poor people at the bottom and going up to catch up with the super rich. Because you see, one evil in one section of society, sooner or later is going to catch up with another evil in the same society, persecuting the poor. Will actually translate in when these aliens who are now in government, these aliens who are, I believe, are not really human, because humans cannot really be so violent. Violence is in education, the television, teaching children, violence. If you see games, violence, and we think it is entertainment. Hollywood, violence. Teaching society how to teach, how to kill and destroy lives. We use violence as a form of that in a multi-billion or multi-trillion business. Actually, even commercials in the TV is using violence and nastiness and really very, very bad things that are being done. These people are no longer humans. They look like humans. They are leading the world. They are going to destroy humanity sooner or later. If you are still human among the ruling class, stop and open your eyes wide and think about your kind. The aliens have landed from the outer space. They look like humans. Their spirit is a spirit of savagery, and they have money. They have taken over power. What we are going to get is nastiness. We get it with impunity. These are people who talk like robots. They have no emotions. They are passionless. They are culturally, castrated. They don't really produce humanity anymore. They produce species beyond our imagination. These people are wrong for humans. They are actually looking like humans. They are deceptive. They are wolves in the skin of sheep. You can only be that brutal to prosecute the kind of violence in terms of shutting down the public sector in the face of poverty. And these people, the poor of the world, are dying silently. They are taught by savages in power. They are told to keep quiet. And if you walk on the street, if you travel in buses, if you go in offices, people are quiet. There is a conspiracy of silence. Even people with power are now so afraid. They can no longer speak. If you see the silence in society, silence of the people, of human species, you will be shocked. People have lost the capacity to speak. But if you say speak, speak. And if they strangle you, if you're unlucky, you are strangled while speaking, at least what you have said will actually be there. Even if it is not seen, what people will hear, your spirit is in it. So speak. And people can't speak, fine. I mean, if you can speak, if only the two of you speak human language, peace, peace and more peace. I have argued that it doesn't matter what aliens do, whatever they do to humanity, humanity will triumph. Humanity will go nowhere. It doesn't matter, even if only two are left, they will actually recolonize the earth and drive away aliens. It doesn't matter how they disguise themselves because I have no way of describing people in power. I can only describe them as being aliens. That makes sense to me. Otherwise, if I think they're humans, then I will fail. These people are not humans. Because if they were, they would listen to people being speaking to them. They don't listen anymore at all. People in power, ministers, prime minister, Richard Sunak, the prime minister of the United Kingdom. I don't know about Keir Starmer. If he's human, he will start this way. You see, the way you learn, you see, you can distinguish between human and alien is that humans listen. If another human speaks, they listen. If humans say, we are suffering, a fellow human will listen, but an alien will not. So people like Richard Sunak, the other day, Richard Sunak, British Prime Minister, the energy company who are mostly now even aliens. I think one of them was a human being. One of the representatives, I can't remember who it was. It was somebody important. He said, speaking on behalf of one of the energy companies, I can't remember which one. We made money, so much money, we don't know what to use the money for. That is how arrogant they are. Because they know nothing, the government can do nothing. The government is now castrated because of privatization. They have sold of the state. The state has no power left to do anything. The market is the new government, it's the new ruler. The market system, the institutions like the Bank of England are actually the new empires. They are the new prosecutors of imperialism. And they are, most of them are now being taken over by aliens. Because you see, they only talk about growth. Growth means money, wealth. The obsession with wealth is staggering to this extent that nobody now thinks of humanity. Humanity is a thing of the past, but they are wrong. We are right. We are humans. We are going to have a nice day. So, I use this word with advice. Fool yourself. You aliens who have now occupied government, who are in power, you aliens, who are, when I say you are in power, I mean the majority of power brokers. People who sit in power are majority. Majority are actually aliens, they are not humans. If you are humans, you don't mistreat people the way you treat. You cannot be so cold, so brutal, so violent, so destructive. Destroy the NHS, destroy schools, destroy public sector, some school, public transport, destroy the housing system, and it is going, it's unrelenting. I don't know how we will survive as human species, but we will, because this is our planet. My request to the aliens, please go back to the outer space. Turn around, go where you came. If you want to survive, aliens cannot inherit the earth because the earth belongs to humans. There are people now who talk about the environment. The environment are humans. The environment are for human beings. Go and learn your culture. The culture will tell you the earth belongs to humanity. Even trees, even cattle. You don't love animals and hate people. You are an alien, and we are going to deal with you because we are humans. It doesn't matter. We may have nothing in our hands, but we are humans. We are those author and the finisher of our fate in this world, in the United Kingdom, across the globe. So if you are human, if you still listen to another human like me speaking, join me in this modest space, and let us begin to speak. When we speak, the world shakes. I am now speaking. The aliens and their fellow allies are shaking also. Because imagine only me speaking now and they are quaking in their boots. Including, I don't know if Rishi Sunak is still human. Maybe he is possessed by an alien spirit. He may be still human. Some of these people are human, but they are possessed by alien spirit. They are confused. Because if you are not confused, you cannot treat people the way these people. Because see, even poor people think they are rich. The level of brainwash, poor people who are actually so poor, they on the street they think they are rich. They just don't have money. Because they are right in the sense that Britain is rich. The whole world, especially in Africa, especially in other parts of the world, they are running into Europe because the wealth is there. These nations, these regions are so rich, you will be shocked the amount of wealth. And you are thinking, wow. What is the cause of the cost of living crisis? The cost of living crisis is good because it teaches us the truth. If you pay attention on the cost of living crisis and compare the cost of living crisis situation with the amount of wealth in the United Kingdom, then you know that people in government are either alien possessed or they are not aliens. Take your pick. One or the other, the majority in power are either aliens who are actually they came to destroy humanity, and they are almost succeeding. But you see, the fingerprinting belongs to humanity. To the extent that someone like me still speaks on behalf of humanity, it means we are still good. We are doing good. We are going to succeed. They will not win. People who keep quiet will join them, and they will go extinct with fellow aliens or people who are actually sold out to alien nations. I say this because you see, I have thought about this. I have considered, I have looked at this country as Britain, the level of wealth. You don't even need to go to the library. You can go to the library and write an essay about wealth. The materials are there. You write about the wealth of the United Kingdom and bring it to me or to your mother, to your mom, to your father, or to your sister, to your daughter, to your whoever you want to take the information. You will find one thing: wealth, and wealth, intellectual wealth, physical wealth, technological wealth, industrial, military. Nothing is lacking in terms of development. One of the most developed countries on earth, the United Kingdom. And to hear about the cost of living is evident that something has happened. These people are psychopaths in terms of they carry alien spirits. They are modified, genetically modified species of creatures. If they were human, they would have stopped. They could have woken by their deep sleep. From their deep sleep, to turn around and see who is calling there, who is shouting, who is crying. Oh, there is a human being there, sleeping rough on the street. Go onto the street of London, you will find rough sleepers. It doesn't make sense. They will sleep next to multi-billionaires and multi-trillionaires who live in a life. I can only watch their lifestyle from YouTube, and I enjoy it from them because and you talk about wealth. There is wealth in America, in Europe, in Africa. African multimillionaires, multi-billionaires. My goodness, the way these people live in wealth, and you know, alien is here to stay, but on a temporary, because we humans, doesn't matter how poor we are, it doesn't matter how much you kill us, you aliens and your spirits. There is alien and the spirit of aliens. They are here to destroy humanity using wealth as a weapon of mass destruction. This is failing. It will fail. It will fail before it started, because we humans are not going to go anywhere. We won't go away quietly. We are here to stay, and we have already succeeded. We may not look like that. It may look that our enemies are winning. Those in power now, those corrupt aliens in power now are winning, but they have lost. Because we are still here. They should have finished decades ago, during the Second World War, during the First World War, when the Black Death occurred, when so many viruses, we faced so many calamities. But we are still here. This is proof that, we are not, we are one. And so let us speak with boldness to reclaim humanity, the human heritage. There's no any season to talk about cultural economy, because culture is the creation of humanity. It's the pill of survivability. There are good people among the ruling class. I know it is hard to live among aliens because they are so violent. If you misbehave, they're going to slaughter you. I understand that. But you stay there. Let one of your foot be on the alien compound. One of your foot should be on the human compound, so that when the time comes, you will help us, your species, your kind. And so for the rest of the world who are actually facing calamity now, let us not give up hope. There is hope, and we will win. We will win this battle. And these battles are manifested in the cost of living crisis. It manifested in COVID-19. It manifested in Brexit. It manifested in the 2007-2008 financial crisis. It manifested in terrorism. Terrorism is part of the process to destroy humanity. It's a part of conspiracy by the aliens. If you see what is happening in Israel, see what's happening in Ukraine, who are we killing? Are we killing cats and dogs? No. Israelis are human. If they are humans. Hamas are humans. Why are we killing Hamas? Why are we killing Israel? Why are we killing Ukrainians? Why are we killing Russians? Are they animals? No, they are humans. Why are we killing them? Because we have the alien spirit. Human with their human spirit do not kill fellow humans. We are preservers of humanity, and we speak so the world obey. It doesn't matter whether we have wealth or not. Our wealth is our existence, our DNA, our heritage as humans. This is our house. This is our world, and we will go nowhere. I leave Britain, I'll go to Africa. I leave Africa, I will go to China. Whether I go under the sea, whether I go in the clouds, I will be there. This is our world. We are not going anywhere. The message to the aliens is that you have lost even before you started. You shouldn't have come to the earth. A few days, yesterday I think I showed Independence Day. That's why I'm using the imagery of aliens. I watched a movie in Independence Day in America. Will Smith paid it and some other guy. Can't remember his name now. So it was a fantastic movie. I always watch Independence Day. I watch movies like that. I don't know who played it and what the purpose is, but I interpret it in a way as to say true aliens have actually arrived. And they are in governments, they are in businesses, big corporations, they are multimillionaires and multi-billionaires. They are trying to kill humanity, and they have lost. Because they should have killed humanity 1,000 years ago. They failed. With the First and Second World War, they failed. Everything they failed to annihilate humanity have failed. Cost of living is a sign of the times. It is evident that there are species other than human who are so brutal. They are also infecting humans in power. Humans in power are now behaving like aliens. Humans out of power among poor people on the street are behaving like aliens. That we will crush them. Humans will crush them. It's a case of, because you see, if you listen to fellow human, that's how they identify you are one of us. If you no longer listen, a man once came to me for advice and said, ask me if I can, if he can, because he had a son, 17-year-old. It was a family case. So he came to me, he came to ask where I would work. And I was advising him on family issue. And he said to me, his son is 17-year-old, the son doesn't listen to me. He wanted to know if you had the legal right to evict his son from his home. I said, yes, you have. But illegally, you have the right to evict your child, because that is your home. It's not your child's home. So that's the law. But I said to him, because this is a family issue, if they have a grandparent or somebody, take them to them. Don't kick your child out, because they might die on the street. Something terrible may happen. you have to really, it is your right, yes, to kick them out, because that is your legal right. But try not to kick your child, your son out, because he's going to suffer. He's your child. So do everything to support him. I gave information on organization which support the family with children, with young people. So what I say, young people are behaving like aliens. They don't listen to their parents at all. And parents also behave like aliens. They now allow children to rule over them. Children are now rulers of some children at home now behave like terrorists. Their parents are so scared of them. They come home and they just terrorize everybody, and they're only 10. When they become 20, the parents will have to run away from home. The children will become like, wow. Some of them are killing their parents. But some parents are so alien-like also. They kill the mother, they kill children, and they kill themselves. They burn themselves. We know this. I am not making. Go online, look at any news media. You will find issues like this. Real. Parents are raping children. Children are raping parents and committing murder, killing each other. I mean, this is they are maybe human or aliens, but there is an alien spirit going up and down. I watched alien movie yesterday, Independence Day. That's why I'm using the imagery of alien, because sometimes it's so difficult to understand the way humans behave. And I've been talking about cultural economy for a long time, hoping somebody somewhere will listen to me, because I believe in change. I believe in hope, and we are not going away. It doesn't matter what somebody dies to us, we will survive. So I'm still looking at this information, pieces of information, the list of help. There's something called extra help unit, which is actually customer service helpline, which advisors can provide to people who need help in the local authority, but we'll go back to square one because of funding. The government is still alive, which we think it is. They should start funding public services, and they should be talking about to European partners, to America, the UK government. I mean to say, should be talking to the European, to America, to Asia, to Africa, to try and start supporting the public sector, the public service, in terms of income. The first step is to get people out of poverty. The second is actually to start learning peace, to learn human culture, which is value humanity as a priority, and also beginning to do things differently. Because we created the problem, we are the ones to solve it, and we have to work together. Whether you're young, whether you're an adult, whether you're rich or poor, whether you are able or disabled, man, male or female, whichever your background, black or white, Asia, or whatever your skin color, white, it doesn't matter. We are humans. We have to work together to solve this problem. This problem was created deliberately because of violence. We need to learn peace. The extra help unit may be there is because there are all sorts of help. Whether the function, you don't need to know, because how can they function? It doesn't matter how colorful they are on the website, because in the end you know them by their fruits. If they don't bear fruits, you go to any extra help unit and it is hopeless. And so because what we need is actually, we need with this extra help unit, whatever you call them, which if you want help from there, I mean, these are actually processes with advisors, professional advisors, who also depend on funding as organizations. If you don't fund them, they are useless. A simple as that is like a tank without fuel. It's run out of fuel and it's standing there. It's a sitting duck. These organizations are empty shells without public funding. And this is how the reality is happening, is failing. Society is dying without money, without whatever you want to know. So we need to really talk about this, and we have to really tell the government to change the policy, because if we speak, we will win. we keep quiet, then we will lose. Simple as that. It's black and white, it's like that. We talk about what we know. So up to now, if you cannot learn from this video, go somewhere else and learn and be the best and expert on the cost of living crisis, which is a symptom. If you've been watching this video, then you know what I'm talking about. So some of the information which may be important to people who are actually in areas, who are in debt with energy or whatever it is, there is something called a standard license conditions and code of conduct. That these are actually terms within the contract involving debt relationship. So it is saying the energy company should comply with those standard license conditions and code of conduct. And then if it is not followed, then client will have ground to challenge the situation. But how are they going to do that? They have to go to experts, to professionals to do that because these are technical areas of relationship, and ordinary people who will not even understand what some people will be talking about. So these are some of the situations we're talking about, and the complexity involved in this relationship. And normally, when you take, for example, housing, to stray a bit from where what we're talking about, to stray a little. If you look at housing, you look at also benefit. In terms of housing, if you are evicted from your home, any home, especially public housing, council housing, but also if you are evicted privately, it goes on your record. You try to look for property, your record will be tainted as somebody who is a defaulter. Defaulter means you don't pay your debt, and this is some of the problems which are not necessary because people should not be in debt. People should be supported effectively. So it's not to be in debt. People go in debt because they don't have money. They have to live in houses, but they don't have money at all. And the government is not helping them. The society is not helping them. And something needs to be done for these people. And these people should actually be doing something for themselves, their life. Because see, the people of Britain now have learned to rely on the government. The government tells them something, they trust the government. Yes, that is fine. But if they keep telling you the people are being sent away from their home because their home is so cold. Some people actually now stay in buses and trains. Buses and trains are so cold in winter. And I think they put I don't know, maybe there are aliens also who are actually bus drivers, who are bus operators. I think they are drivers to put cold air. The buses are colder than outside. The buses on the street of London, of the United Kingdom, London in particular, where I live, the buses are actually colder. And you see pensioners and poor people are actually going into buses and into supermarkets to get warm. They run away from home. See, they are not really enjoying their home. They are treated like aliens. And this is what is happening. And so, if you don't pay your rent, you will not be allowed anywhere in the country. This is also a trick because these people are treated like criminals for housing purposes. There is something called intentional homelessness now operated by the council. That should be removed. Such rules should be scrapped because they are there to prevent people, to evict people from home. You have to basically, it's a brutal, it's really, really cruel policy. If you are in debt because you are poor and you are evicted, you are not going to be given a property in the council. That is the baseline. They may talk of exception, but exception, we don't need to live our life in exceptions. Gray areas which are actually not rooted in any principle, any concrete principle. We want rights to exist. That's what we're talking about. So if we are excluded from housing, we are excluded also from benefit. Because if your employer abuses you, which they now do, because they know the government is no longer there to protect workers, the law is now favoring wizards and witches who are now so violent. They are imposing a 0-hour contract on people who are so poor, they're exploited, and it's like a jungle. It's so violent. The place of work is so bleak. We saw with McDonald's recently, and The story you see on the media is just the icing on the cake. If you actually speak to people who work in McDonald's, I don't want to mention organization, it's not my business. I only say in general that these organizations are now run by monsters. We are a society of monsters, and that is a threat. The answer is change, and it has to start. The change is to start now, so that we begin the process of preservation. Otherwise, it's going to be too little, too late. Everybody listening to me should pay attention. It doesn't matter if you are only one of you. You are actually the key to human destiny. You are the key to our survival. Speak. People call me now. Speak. Don't be silent. If you want to be silent, be silent. And suffer in silence. Speak. Even if they try to slaughter you in 10, 20 years, 30 years, there will be dictatorship. We're going back to the future, to where we began. Where when you spoke at that time, even in the UK, you faced something called guillotine. It's located at the Tower of London. These conditions are coming back because of the monolithic return, systemic return. Where the concentrating of power in the hand of the few, who are going to use this power to match the worst form of dictatorship, the worst form of violence on the people. They are going to be quiet. They are going to be insidious. Before you know it, you will be in another planet if you are not careful. But like I said, I'll talk with you. There was no hope. I don't want to waste my time. Yeah, I know. We may be having nothing now. I mean, being poor is not really a ticket to being stupid. You have to be clever. And being rich is not a ticket to be cruel. You can be nice and support humanity. That's what I'm asking. Asking the rich and the poor to be nice to humanity. Learn their culture and begin to live peacefully. And so, like I said, some of the help now available from the government. This is official on the government website, gov.uk. The government is asking people to contact local authority, local council, and to look for a place nearby with warm spaces. This is the United Kingdom. The UK government is advising its citizens to leave their property and find nearby warm places like library, public library, or even churches. A community space, which are these spaces are funded by the government. People are asked to run away from home, to actually go into exile within the United Kingdom. They are asked by the government, run away from your home because we, the government, have refused to help. Now, start living like dogs. We used to say the Englishman's home is his castle. Now, we have brought monsters into power who do not understand the meaning of dignity, and they should leave. You cannot send British people of the United Kingdom into libraries to run away from cold. The richest country, one of the richest countries in the world. Shame on the government. And this is what I'm saying, shame on them to say, you can ask your local council if they have information about nearby warm places like library, like say community spaces like library. So this information can be on you can contact your local council on gov.uk. They are sending people on their website. These people are actually aliens. They have no shame. Humans have shame. You cannot tell a citizen of the greatest country on earth, United Kingdom, the greatest country in the world, the country which leads the world with the greatest record on the planet. The world is looking at the United Kingdom to lead. And this is a government which sends its citizens into concentration camps, known as community spaces, into exile to run away from poverty because they cannot warm their homes. What is next? If you cannot afford to stay in your home because you're evicted, go to concentration camp. It's happening in America. It's now beginning to happen. It's happening in Africa. Happening in Ukraine. People are going into concentration camps. And it is coming to Europe now because these crises are the same. In Africa, maybe they're using civil war. Ukraine using civil war. In other countries, maybe they are using nature, like storm, like flooding, like burning fire. People are being burned alive in their homes. They are being asked to go into concentration camp. So this is the end of the beginning of the family, the end of the beginning of communities, of society. As we know it, people will be going into concentration camp. Cost of living crisis is a sign of the time to send people into concentration camps. And food bank is a type of concentration camp. It's humiliation. Benefit is a form of concentration camp. It's humiliation. Even the idea of queuing in the hospital is a concentration camp. It's humiliation. You are a slave. So we have to speak. This is our main medicine. Speak. And speak and speak and speak again. So, because of the cost of living also, people are suffering from mental illness. They are in shock. British people are in shock. The amount of poverty, the amount of lack of food. People are now, some people are being caught. If you go to the supermarket, people are being caught. People who are not sick are now stealing food. The next thing we know, the people are start rioting on the street to steal food. It's like you used to watch on the movie because of the level of the crisis, the abandonment of the government, failing to provide public service by shutting down the public sector. And this is what created the cost of living crisis and all the other crises, including crisis happening under COVID-19, crisis happening in everywhere. When there is flood, when there is storm, when there is fire, whatever crisis happens, the government is unable. Terrorism, the government is incapable of handling it because it is the soul of the country. The country short of are shut down by the multimillionaires and multi-billionaires. The world is being now preserved for the few and not the many. So the few actually are being sent into concentration camps to die there like slaves. This is actually happening now. This is what the cost of living is about. Because you find that the government is sending people into the hospital, but the hospital is closed down. Everywhere the government sends to get help, advice from the government website, people with mental illness should be sent to the hospital, but the hospital is shut down, including accident emergency is shut down. It's no longer functioning. The ambulance system is shut down because to provide public service in the healthcare sector, you need the public sector. The government assured of the healthcare sector is assured of to private businesses who shuts it down. Because you see, they don't need it. You see, they don't need anything unless it brings them money. Hospitals do not provide a profit for a private company. So the government, as soon as the government sells it off to the private sector, the reason the government sells public services to private services is for them to shut it down, because there is nothing else the private company can do with public companies. You see, there is a stark difference between the public and the private. The only way to provide public services is by public sector. Public sector are now being shut down by being sold off. Government is pretending to sell these things. How much money does it earn? How much does it earn? The digital pool or even the tax office? How much does the government get when it sends away the hospital to the highest bidder in the market? Where does the money? Private company pay the government how much? This information is missing. Probably it doesn't exist. This organization has actually sold at a nominal fee, maybe £1. The hospital is sold of ambulance, is sold of. What do the private company does? What do? They shut it down because they only keep what make money for them. Public sector do not make money at all for the public service, for the private service. He only use money. That is the nature of the thing. Is there to control capitalism. Now, government has refused to help the majority of the population who are not millionaires, who are not billionaires. So the rest of the population are going to be excluded. They are going to be in concentration camps. Most of them will never come back out, will die from there. And that is going to be probably wipe out most of the people who are poor anyway, because they cannot access healthcare, they cannot access housing, they cannot access food, they cannot access water, they cannot access clean air. The things they feed on are actually contaminated by poison. The sea is being poisoned, the fish we eat is being poisoned, even the meat we eat is being poisoned. The vegetable we eat is poison also. So humanity faces extinction because of political violence, and this is something we can solve when our campaigners begin to learn, because we cannot tell somebody else to be culturally educated if we are not. If we are victim of the state, start learning cultural education. Cultural education valuing humanity. If poor people who are victims now, who are actually facing extinction, are not even culturally educated, then they are as worthless as the people who are actually killing them. You see, to be worthy, to be even credited with some leeway to survive, you have to start the process of learning your culture, respecting yourself, have dignity, respecting other people. Give them dignity. Make the difference between you and a rich person. I'm not talking about rich people. I'm talking about people who are cruel. They can be rich, they can be poor. These are the ones destroying humanity. The ones in power are worse because they are power. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So the poor people may appear to be safe. They are not, because they haven't learned culture. People are violent. As society, we are violent. We are destroying it, and even without those in power destroying us, we will destroy our lives anyway. The way to get our respect is to learn culture, respect, valuing humanity. This is the pill. This is the magic bullet, the magic wand to bring peace. Respecting yourself, respect other people, whether you are rich, whether you're poor, whether you're an alien, you can pretend to be human. And start respecting yourself as an alien. And also respecting your other aliens and humans in the process. Then we will bring peace. Maybe we can live in harmony with with aliens and with the sea. But I believe that this is the way forward. And whether you're in concentration camp, continue respecting yourself, because by that you're going to be empowered to get out of concentration camp and come and get back your country, Britain. And we need to work together and see the end of this. Now, if you're suffering from mental health, there are organizations like Samaritan or Shout, organizations like Samaritan. Go online. They are there. They are open. They have helplines. They have telephone numbers, and you can find other ways to get in touch with Samaritan on their website. And Shout also. These are actually organizations in the UK which are known to help with mental illness issues. It's real. Now, with organizations like Shout, you can use actually text messaging. You can text Shout, 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 to a particular number, find their number online. And you can start a conversation with a trained Shout volunteer, or I don't know. Their volunteers mean they are not employed, because they Shout, they don't have money to employ a member of staff. This is the problem, because volunteers will need to work for a living, and they can't work. They are doing the work. Some of them work for 10 years in an organization, they're on benefit. They are probably using their own money, their own savings, and they are not being paid because the organization cannot afford. They cannot afford because the government is not funding it. And this is the problem with the social sector, which is part of the public sector objective. And everywhere, these places are temporary. If they're there, do your best actually to contact them because you may not have them for long. They are shutting down unless a sensible government take over power recently next year. Maybe if the Labour Party comes to power, we'll wait and see if they are going to slow down because it's about managing what is so chaotic. I don't know what the Labour Party is going to do when they come into power next year. I'm not going to be partisan, but I'll wait and see what they're going to do because the Conservatives are being really horror story in this to this country. If you don't see it that way, fine. That is your choice. But your life is on the line with a government like that. And the Labour Party may do even worse than the Conservatives. But let's wait and see. Let us hope they are going to be better if they come into power. I don't know who will be running the country next year, with or without a government which helps. Help yourself in every way. This is the purpose of this mission. Help yourself survive. Learn how to survive as an individual. If your family, because you see the culture is so broken, your family may be your worst enemy even. You have to sometimes learn to survive as an individual. If you watch this video and you want to speak to me, this will come below, then we will carry on the conversation. I'm committed. I'm passionate about this. And my prayer to myself and to God is to keep me talking in this space for as long as possible. I believe it will help people. But help one person, you could potentially help a million people. Because you don't know who they will speak to. They may even start their own YouTube channels because they have listened to my message. They will probably do a better job as YouTubers to using the information I'm giving here to reach even more people that are reaching. But I believe we can do this, and whether you like it, you don't have to like something to value it. You can value it. I mean, if you have to like everything about medicine, how many people like being operated or being in the hospital? I don't like it at all, but it's necessary. Some things are necessary. I don't really like work unless I'm doing something I like doing. Most people work because of necessity. You talk to young people today, why are you going to school? I don't like going to school, but it is necessary. You go to school. You're not working. I don't want to work. I know you. I don't want to work, but you have to work because it is your life. Is a necessity. In life, nothing is perfect. I mean, if you live in a perfect world, then you can choose. Sometimes you have very limited choice. Like now, with the cost of living crisis, we all should be on a survival mode to survive. If you are just sitting there thinking the government knows what it's doing, then the government's message is clear. As we go through this material, we will begin to realize that the government information is on the government website and other websites, but the reality on the ground, the practicality is different because it's always funded. These things could work. These charities, Shout, Samaritan, are there. They are ready to help. They want help. They need help from the government. The government gives them help today. They are so resourced. They have so much experience. They help people, so many people. It will work as soon as they get the funding. They will stop working as long as the funding is not there. That's funding, the magic word. And funding, as we have seen, can only happen through the public sector. Private companies do not do public service. They shut the organization down because these organizations are not there to make profit for them. I don't know whose idea it is that private companies should be the one providing public sector. They are worlds apart. Public sector is created to address the problem of the private sector. And now the government decided to shut down the public sector. See, so the problem created of inequality about on the private sector can no longer be solved. So the majority who are not part of the capitalism are going to die effectively, because see, the reason somebody wisely decided to moderate capitalism is to include the majority of the population so that they don't die. But somebody decided to turn that around and shutting down the public sector. Public sector is a death sentence. When it is shut down, it's a death sentence to the 90% of the population, because if you're not rich, you will die because employment will shut down. We have seen small and medium businesses are shutting down. The question, shutting down the public sector. Answer, protect the public sector. because you need minimum wage, you need living wage, you need to raise it up, you need to tax the rate, you need to actually use the law to put pressure on wealthy people, to help people who are excluded by capitalism from society. Now, if you don't do that, people are going to die. It is how the system is designed. The system of capitalism is the system of slavery. It's designed to destroy those who are not in power, because see, if you don't destroy them, they will destroy you. And it's created in a backdrop of cultural failure. And the real, poverty is eradicating poverty is the first step toward civilization. The real answer to civilization is actually cultural economy, education. We learn to value humanity and stop the war. All these complications are actually because we are fighting. We are fighting those in power. The royal family are fighting each subject, and each subject is fighting the royal family. Royal family are fighting themselves. You see the show with Prince Harry and Prince William and King Charles now. The royal family are fighting each other. The subject are also fighting each other. The culture is problematic. We need a true human culture which is based on the value of humanity. Valuing humanity over power, over wealth, over anything else. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Subscribe if you have watched this far. You're a superstar. See you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.